Hey, wonderful teachers, it's time for another Buzz Tip of the Week. I wanted to talk to you this week about project-based learning just a little bit and how we can facilitate using project-based learning instead of giving worksheets all the time. This can work great for essays that your student is writing in your class or for projects. Instead of taking a final exam, they opt to go for a final project. For art, obviously, it's a project-based class already, so most of my stuff is already graded that way. But there is a great feature in Buzz that lets you be able to create a project and not have to assign homework every single day once the project is set up. So I'll go ahead and show you how to do that. I'll go into here. I've already created one right here. So I'll show you how you go and do that. So you want to go and you can add it to whatever unit you want to or whatever session you want to. I'm just going to add it right here for now. And it's right here called Project Wizard. So what this does, this is going to create the introduction portion for you, and then the submission, and you can also add other items to it. So I'm just going to put life drawing on here. You can pick the start date. So that one's the 20th. We're going to start it on the 27th. And I'm going to give that student, so I see the 27th was the last Monday. So I'm going to give them 4 weeks for this project to do. So you can type up the project description right in here. So it's, if I can spell it right, so life drawing of an object of their choice. Shading in at least 5 different values, and then any other project descriptions that you want to do or requirements that you want to attach to that. You know, if you're doing like a history project and you want a timeline of the events, you know, you put a timeline in there and how many events you want on that timeline, stuff like that. Or if it's an essay, you know, the requirements that you want for the essay. The instructions for submission, upload to Buzz Dropbox. Or however which way you want it done. If it's like a large physical thing, they can upload a photo of it or, you know, just turn it into you. Now down here you can add all of these other things and you can edit these once you have them assigned. So I'm going to include a discussion on that, and then you click Add Project. And there it is, it pops up. So first thing, you open it up, it has life drawing, the description of it. So you can click on that. And there is what I typed in, life drawing of an object of your choice, shading in at least 5 different values. So that's a description of the project. We could go and make that activity gradable with a due date, but it's just a description of the project. This one is the discussion. So I'm going to change this to check-in. So what I've been setting up with some of my students is that we'll set the project up in advance and we'll decide about how long it's going to take. And then what we'll do is we will set this up together and create the rubric together, because there's always a rubric attached to grade the projects. Instead of just a straight, you know, you did a 90% or you did a 60%, this is a rubric so that it gives them a breakdown of how well they did on each category. And we create that rubric together. I put the requirements on there that I want to see from the project, and then that student puts their requirements on there that they want to see from the project as well. So they are getting input and getting the input that is important for them to move forward in what they want to learn how to do. So the life drawing, the check-in point here is, you know, this is just upload a photo or description of what has been accomplished so far. So you can also type in there what other things that you would like to have for them to do a check-in process. So this one, you need to put a due date on it. So the project is starting on the 27th. So I'm pretty much going to have one of these for every week. And again, this depends on your student. They might want one just like every 2 weeks as a check-in to see how things are going. I usually don't do a threaded discussion, so they can start like a new discussion thread. So they can actually get a discussion going on this, so we can go back and forth on that. You know, if it's a Thursday and class isn't until Tuesday, you know, you've got a few days in there where if the students got questions over the weekend or something, then they can type that in there. Make sure that it's checked as gradable, put, you know, a good time on there. The weight in the category, how you want the entry to be scored, if it's points or a rubric. And then, you know, be sure to add your rubric, and I have some in here already. So you can create a new one if you want to, and then just make sure that you go and set that up with your student. And then you can decide if you want these individual check-ins to count as projects or as homework or as participation or whatever other category that you would like. You can create a specific check-in project just for this. So I'm going to count this under homework since I don't have like a check-in category. Again, when you sit down with your student at the very first day of class with them, you're going to want to sit down and go through grading categories. And do they want to be graded on participation, or for them is that a useless grade and doesn't really give them a lot of feedback information on their performance on whatever they are learning how to do. So all of this, definitely you want to work with your students on this. If it's just a simple homework piece, I might change this weight so that it's not worth, you know, quite so much because it's just a check-in, you know, and then click save on that. You can also add other ones in here. So you can add the assignment, you can add the discussion, whatever one you are wanting to add to it. You can do like a journal, so they can like do a reflection period after completing a certain step of it. And then with the submission, you're going to want to make sure to set up the due date and time on this one as well. And I believe I said I gave it 4 weeks. So June 24th, and we'll just give it, you know, a decent time so it's not in the evening when they're supposed to be sleeping. Again, I'm going to change this to a rubric, you know, add your rubric and get that all set up. And make sure that you copy and paste the rubric into a Word document so your student has access to that. Always want to make sure that they know how they can achieve the most points possible to get the best score possible. So be sure and do that for your students as well. I know they'll greatly appreciate it. I've got students that go verbatim by that rubric so that they can get the most points possible. You can click save right on that one. You can also come to like the project section here. And it, you know, it will pop up here. And if you go back to projects, it will show all of your projects in the class. So you can go and edit them whenever you want to. All you have to do is click on them. So if you want to, instead of having to go find where you put it, it's right there. Kind of quick, easy access for you. We'll go back to the syllabus. And now I will show you what it's going to look like on the student's end. Okay, so I'm just going to go in and proxy as that test student and go in and come to the to-do list. Those things should pop up on that to-do list. So here's the life drawing check-in, and here's the life drawing submission. And of course, there's other ones that I have put in as well. So all of those are going to show up. Even though this one is 4 weeks out, it is showing up on their to-do list. Be sure to tell them not to load up anything into that, because that's the final piece that they will load their final project into. So Plus, it's got that really far out there due date, so they will be able to realize that, oh, okay, this one is not for the final. So that be sure to set up all those check-ins and everything beforehand so that the student is, a little bit of aware of what's going on. So if you have any questions or if you need any assistance with setting up your project wizard with your projects, just let me know. I'd be more than happy to help you. I am really excited about this feature. Again, just come and find me and I would love to help out. Happy charting!